Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Do you like early access to podcasts?
Sure.
Do you like bonus episodes of podcasts?
I do.
Well, we have those. Did you know that?
I hope we make them soon.
Yeah, we'll make them eventually. And people can get them and they can support us along the way at patreon.com/retroam. And now, would you like to hear some hot sounds that I have recorded?
Yeah.
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast about Xenogears. Intense nostalgia and a burning desire to extrapolate thematic elements of this video game have led us here to my basement to talk about Xenogears tonight again. My name is Chris. Tonight I'm joined by my Xeno friend Eric. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris means Xeno as in, like, the context of liking Xeno games, not phobic or anything.
Is that unfortunate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, when you say you're into Xeno, it could mean like either aliens or Alien, or that PS4 game that has Xeno in the title that's not.
Oh yeah, Xeno Crisis.
Xeno Crisis.
Xenophobia. Isn't there actually a game called Xenophobia?
There's one called Xenophobe.
Xenophobe, yeah, it's the alien shooter game, right?
Yeah, it's not Alien Soldier. It is a different game with an alien on the front that's not actually an alien.
Initializing fakenet.
Eric was actually thinking about Alien Syndrome, not Alien Soldier. Why do I say alien so weird?
Hey, speaking of different shit,
yeah,
I have some egregious oversights and corrections.
Oh, from our last episode.
From last episodes.
Ish.
One is a possible admission of failure.
Okay.
There is a strong possibility I have been confusing Steel Giant with Fuse in the musical tracks. I discovered that this time when I was looking for it, and I was like, that's not that song. So that could be a problem you may have noticed 10 episodes ago that we just now figured out. I
don't think that I noticed that.
Okay.
Because you're right, those tracks do sound very similar.
The fake nets had to correct us postscript a couple of times on some of these track names, so it's a possibility.
Okay, well.
And the second one, remember when we found out Big Joe had adopted some Spanish-speaking mannerisms with his slang, and we were like, how did this happen? Where did this come from? Well, I was thinking about contemporary pop culture characters of the time that the localization crew may have been familiar with, right?
Okay.
Who is a 6'7" dude, very muscular, huge, and got a spontaneous Spanish, specifically Cuban accent.
Who?
Razor Ramon.
Whoa, okay.
Óyeme, chico. You steal from Razor Ramon?
So, different color hair, but generally like prickish, big, tall, intimidating guys who usually get their ass kicked.
Flicks toothpaste. Flicks toothpaste.
Yeah, toothpicks.
Toothpaste.
Right.
Toothpicks.
Toothpick.
Toothpicks.
Rehabbed by DDP with Jake the Snake.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Wow. Well.
Hey, yo.
That's something.
Yeah, that's something. I don't know what that...
Are we now reading Big Joe's voice as Razor Ramon's voice?
Absolutely.
Just in the same way that we're doing Rico and Stallone?
Yeah, there's not a lot of room between Razor Ramon and Stallone.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah.
Razor Stallone.
Last time we left off, the boys were drinking.
Yes. Sigurd had just passed out. Jessie
was complimenting the quality of the bar, and he was calling Mason an old codger.
Yes.
I don't know if we brought this up last time, but at some point Mason said, thank you, my good man, which I want to say that to more people. I want to say thank you, my good man, more often, assuming I'm speaking to a man. Like, I feel like thank you, my good man is a dying phrase, and I want to start using that, and I'm going to credit old Mason to bringing it back.
Are you going to employ a British accent when you do it?
No, I just want to be like, hey, thanks, good man.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, try that out at your next restaurant encounter. Let's see how that works.
We'll try. Jessie also said that Mason's character is good like his booze, which is a compliment that I seek regularly. Like, I want people to compliment my character, equate the quality of my character and the quality of my booze.
Unless you have shitty booze.
Well, I mean, my booze is mostly mid-tier booze, so... Anyway, they did the paint your face on your stomach and dance around trick.
Right.
They tried to do that, and then we faded to black as Sigurd passes out.
If we had hundreds of followers instead of merely dozens at this point, I would wonder if we could submit like a listener mail idea for what painting your face on your stomach and dancing around means.
Well, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, we will have thousands of listeners.
Possibility. So we have a new chapter. What's the chapter called?
The new chapter is called Reaper Ship.
Now, our new game is the official chapter, but I go to the Xenosaga Xenogears study guide and get the translation. But now there are 3. 2 of them I make up, 1's real. I make Chris pick between all 3 for the
Lay it on me.
All right. Is Reaper Ship actually called Ghost Ship, The Cruiser Full of Zombies, or Haunted Transport? Again, Ghost Ship, The Cruiser Full of Zombies, Haunted Transport.
As much as I want it to be Cruiser Full of Zombies, I think it's Ghost Ship.
You are wrong. It's Cruiser Full of Zombies.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we are about to partake in a traversal of a Cruiser Full of Zombies, so...
Before we get there, though, we have to go to the orphanage.
Yeah, well, we go there via a flashback, right? Or no, just we flash...
No, this is that night after they leave the bar.
Oh, yeah, it's not a flashback. Sigurd passes out, then it flashes to Billy going back home, I guess?
Yeah.
And Jessie is drunk as shit and barges in, right?
Yeah. Father figure comes back wasted in the middle of the night. What's changed, Dad?
Billy's very angry about the loudness of this situation.
Yeah. He said he's angry at Jessie compelling Sigurd to drink, that Sigurd doesn't usually do that.
And Jessie also says that Sigurd's stories were hilarious.
Yeah.
And I find that hard to believe.
I mean...
Can Sigurd tell a hilarious story?
Considering... imagine you get all these guys wasted and they start talking about the fucked up shit in Solaris, man.
Yeah, that's true.
All that stuff, stuff that they know that they're not telling us, right? I'm sure, they're kind of like war buddies, right? If they're part of the Solaris kill squads.
Yeah, they probably have a different rapport than we've seen sort of Sigurd express outside of anybody other than Bart.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember we were genociding roughnecks? Ha ha.
Then Billy says something that doesn't make any sense.
What's he say?
He says, you let Sigurd drink even though you're a holy man's father. So think about that. If you were a priest, then all of a sudden that you would have to pass your sort of code of ethics to your father?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe
I'm a priest, so you can't live your life.
For a public face, perhaps it's not good for a blood relative to be imbibing in deplorable activities such as mind corruption via alcohol on pirate ships full of rogue Solarian soldiers escalating a plot to destroy God.
Yeah, Billy doesn't want any sort of Instagram photos of his father to appear and ruin his good name, I guess.
It'd be very damaging for him for all that Billy's religion stands for that surely cannot be struck down in a matter of hours.
Surely.
And don't call me Shirley.
Surely. We're not going to find any sort of egregious items.
So amidst his drunkenness, Jessie more or less tells Billy to open his eyes and quit this priest shit.
Yeah, quit fucking being a priest, my guy, my son.
You don't have to worry even about it, man.
And Billy quips back and he questions whether or not Jessie is his true dad. And Jessie's like, I can't prove it. And I don't understand this scene.
He framed it not as his biological father, but as a person his mother could have fallen in love with.
Oh, I get it. Okay. I feel like maybe there was some choice words that maybe were missed. In the
that could have been a little bit more clear. Because
I don't think they were specifically talking about DNA. Do they share DNA?
Yeah.
But that's kind of how the language was written in the text box. But I see where you're going with that.
So Jesse's a little bit like the passed out guy at the bar. Do you have what he alludes to the ethos being illegitimate?
Yes, he says something about that. What do you have the quote?
What those guys really are, where you were going, and then he trails off and says Raquel died in vain. Raquel being Billy's mother, Josiah's wife.
Yeah, and doesn't Jesse say something about I'll let you know at the correct time?
Yeah, kind of some plot withholding information stuff.
I don't know if that's in service of the plot or if he has to keep this as a secret as to protect Billy. If he's trying to protect Billy by withholding secrets, then Jesse is a good father. If he's just not telling him because he's a plot device, then fuck off.
Your son's got this nice job. He seems happy. He's technically helping kids. He's not aware of the nefarious plots of the ethos yet. He's on its course, but in my opinion, if you're Josiah, you shouldn't even allude to this stuff then. You should either be out with it or just keep, maintain the illusion. Yeah, and that illusion being that he's just living his life in a stupor and just kind of going off and fucking shit up just because he doesn't like the ethos. He's exceptionally talented with a gun, so he can go destroy shit and nobody can fuck with him. Yeah, but I guess at this point, Billy only perceives this as being a method to for Jesse to lash out against the organization that he has contempt for, when in reality it appears that maybe Jesse has a motive here. Yeah. Real motive. It's not just a grindstone. So at that point it fades to black and we wake up on the Yggdrasil. But the last thing Jesse says is he tells Billy to quit his job. Oh yeah, quit your fucking job, please. It's easy to quit your job when your ethos organization's been bought out by private equity.
Yeah, exactly. So then we wake up on the Yggdrasil, and it's time to go check in with Choo Choo.
Uh-oh. I keep forgetting to do this shit. What did Choo Choo say this time, Chris?
It's fun to see more and more people here.
Noting the advancement of party members and all that stuff boarding the Yggdrasil.
Billy is not a party member yet, but he is soon to be.
Yeah. I thought I checked in with the Doctor and Hammer, and the Hammer still said something about being scared of a ghost ship and definitely staying there.
Yeah, actually, Margie has something to say about the ghost ship, too. It says it reminds her of the days when Bart and her used to dare each other. And then Bart was in my party when this happened, and Bart tells her to stop, and I'm not comfortable with this conversation.
Yeah, I don't like any reference to them being romantic partners or like playing truth or dare or whatever it was they were doing when they were kids.
Yeah, it was a little
heavy
weird.
petting.
Yeah, it's upsetting. I'm very upset by this. At this point, I thought I was supposed to launch the Yggdrasil, so I went to the bridge, and Sigurd is not there. He has a hangover. They're going to need another day.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Was Bingo there?
Yeah, I think Bingo was there.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't drive well, Sigurd.
Yeah. So that's where they tell you that Billy is waiting for you in the gun room.
Mm-hmm. Billy has to tell us how to play as Billy.
He does. This was a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch.
When you first, I don't know if this happens. I don't know who you have to have in your party this time, but I did have Bart with me, and he asked Billy if he's dressed too lightly.
Yeah,
and my thought was, Bart, you're currently equipped with a penguin coat.
Yeah,
so,
penguin coat, face wearing the dress of his dead friend.
Yeah, maybe chill out there, asshole.
Yeah, Billy, we didn't really describe his look. He's wearing like a blue, like giant robe smock thing.
Yeah, it's very bulky and loose fitting, and it kind of contrasts with all of the sleek, tight fitting clothes that we've seen, with the exception of like Faye and Citan's clothes seem very like designed in a very sort of Eastern tradition, but Billy just looks like he's wearing a fucking garbage bag.
Yeah, he's wearing, I mean, if you're going to carry around 3 guns at one time plus a shitload of ammunition, you're going to need a pretty big duster to pump all that in. And he's got the nice little like white boat, not a bow tie, but like a neckerchief thing happening that looks like something that a religious person would wear in this universe. So
the 3 guns are the handgun, the ether gun, and the big gun.
Yeah.
And he tells us all this shit about how to equip the ammo in them and stuff, and I didn't really pay attention. I'm just like, I'm going to figure this out later.
Yeah, you need to give him different bullets, but that's only for the triangle gun, his handgun. He made his gun on square, which is an ether gun, and his big gun by himself. They're his own custom creations. You don't have to buy ammo for those. I don't know where the ammo comes from. We don't really get that, but as the player, you're only in charge of supplying his handgun with ammunition.
Bart also says that this is a little bit too complicated, and I agree with Bart right here.
Yeah, Bart, it seems like whenever someone starts to explain something to them, he's like, oh, shut up, we just gotta go do it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
There's more Billy on Bart shade in this sequence too, though.
Oh, yeah, Billy makes a comment about the guns on the wall.
Yeah, there's a gun just like pinned diagonally to the wall behind where Billy's standing.
Bart says that it is the Mockinshire.
I'm going to go ahead and pronounce that Michigan Gator.
Initializing fake net.
Macaganator. That's not a real word. Though some lunatic out there uses Macaganator Eldridge as their handle in Final Fantasy XIV.
The Michigan Gator is on the wall, and it has been passed down by the Fatima family.
Yes, Billy says, what a waste. It's too good for you who just brandishes a whip.
Okay.
I like how there's like various pointless gun envy everywhere. Like, Bart hates that Shotgun has all those big cannons around, and then Vandercom had the gun problem. Like, there's some. I don't know if Takahashi is a 2A proponent, so to speak.
Probably not. He's not American.
He's Japanese, so almost certainly not.
And at that point, Ellie wants to know why Billy became an Etone.
I think it's time for a flashback, Chris.
It is time for a flashback, and we hear the track, hopefully I'm identifying it properly, Tears of the Star, Hearts of the People.
Yes.
Which is one of those kind of sad remembrance tunes that we've heard before.
Yeah, in my head, I still don't know it, but I remember it as the soap opera music, and then I go through the soundtrack looking for what sounds like the soap opera music, and it's usually the last. Like, I get something Dreams of the Soldier confused with this one a lot.
There's about a rotation of 3 or 4 different sad themes.
Yeah, Lost Broken Shards, all that stuff.
Yeah, the Egg of Time or whatever. No, that's Chrono Trigger.
Shattering Egg of Dreams.
Yeah, which I love the title of that track, by the way. I want to shatter my Egg of Dreams all the time. The first thing that happens in this flashback is that Dad leaves to go get a pack of smokes.
That's right.
And it appears that Dad is Jessie, Billy is young and sad, and we come to find out that there were Reapers.
Yeah.
that were looking.
Before Dad leaves to go get a pack of smokes, which is usually the terminology for Dad left and never came back, in case you're not familiar with that metaphor Chris is using, Billy says he taught him to use a gun at age 8.
Oh.
So my dad votes red, is what I read into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dad left for no reason. There's little kids running around a den. Billy would stay in his room and look at his dad's gun. And the scene here is Billy's orphanage, but with some assets removed and rearranged to make it look kind of different.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like supposed to be the same building or if it's actually intended to be Billy's orphanage.
Could be. It could be he came back there and then created the orphanage after so that kids would have a place to stay.
Technically, it's in his name, I bet. I'm sure the church didn't co-opt that.
It's just on a random island.
So yeah, Reapers come.
Yeah, they're looking for Dad.
The Reaper we find is the pirate and then the Nordtune guy sprites, but they're zombified.
Yeah.
They're like, the saturation has been turned down, so they're almost colorless, and they're kind of just sprites that have been manipulated.
Now, did you take any notice to the fact that I think Billy in the narration says they were looking for his dad, and this is the first kind of inkling where we are given an idea that Reapers have some sort of intelligence. They're not just random zombies that go fly off the wall and just kill people.
Maybe they can pursue, like if given a directive, they can go try to accomplish simple tasks. Because the chapter's called, both crows are full of zombies. Like, I'm not sure if we're to assume total intelligence here, but we are to assume some intelligence.
Yes, like almost as if somebody sent them.
Yes.
And who saves them, Eric?
Bishop Stone shows up and one-shots all these motherfuckers.
Yeah, with no animation. It's just a kind of just a gunshot and the sprites kind of fade out.
Yeah, I think you overlooked the fact that they came inside his house and murdered Billy's mom.
Oh, yeah, that part.
Yeah.
I thought that was next. Yeah.
So my immediate thought here when Bishop Stone showed up and saved the day is, this dude did this shit on purpose. He made this happen. He orchestrated all of this to happen so he could come in, get Billy's mom out of the picture, and become a major influence on Billy on whom he sees potential.
Because he was taught to use guns at age 8, I guess.
And this makes Bishop Stone a lawful evil character. Chris, I have an important question for you.
Okay.
Is Bishop Stone Billy's Citan?
Ooh. Yes?
I think so.
I think he is. We're going to have to see how these arcs play out.
Like, total trust in this guy, great influence, may have sculpted his developmental years to when he becomes an adult.
We also find out that Primera hasn't spoken since this moment.
Yeah,
she saw her mother be murdered.
After she witnessed this. So that makes me, again, wonder what happened to Midori, if she doesn't talk either, and her mom's still in the picture. Since
Midori being Citan's daughter.
Citan's daughter, yeah. In the last episode, Chris hinted that there is a relation there. I haven't looked it up, and I've forgotten, so I'm wondering if that is a possibility.
The thing that that is common between the situations is that both of the fathers are former elements.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Good point. Maybe they spread some, microbes.
I don't know. Were you trying to get to midichlorians?
Yeah. Like there's some biological experimentation or ether abilities that corrupted vocal cords or scared the shit out of them for 20 years or whatever.
At some point during the flashback, Bart interrupts and asks the same thing that I just asked when we were talking about the Reapers. He said, he interrupts and asks if Reapers can talk, and Billy explains that some of them are intelligent.
Yeah, some of them are. But the silent kid thing is a major kind of archetype in a lot of fiction. I'm playing Police Nuts right now, and there's the son of the guy that looks like Riggs from Lethal Weapon. He can't talk, but he has a tablet that he uses to express himself. But I think Primera just kind of shows up and provides emotional support for Billy.
Yeah, but I don't think that she would be here if not to serve another purpose later. I think we have seen portrait characters be introduced for only to advance the plot, like the Ellie's Proud Boy Squad. They're there's no characterization for those guys. They're just a bunch of goofs.
Yeah.
But by and large, if a portrait character is introduced, we have seen them be essential to some sort of progression of the plot up to this point. So I will be watching for this whole Primera Midori situation to unfold, hopefully.
So Billy wants to follow, after this, Billy wanted to follow Bishop Stone's example and went to the monastery. This was the plan that Bishop Stone set in motion and wanted to execute.
And is this the point where Billy grows up?
Yeah, Billy grows up. We're to assume time has passed, and Billy comes back to his old abandoned orphanage on the exact same day somebody else shows back up.
Yes, at this time, Jessie comes back, and Billy notes that he is different. His character and his mannerisms have changed, and I don't know if this is a reference to the fact that Jessie is in some sort of face-off situation, or the fact that he's got a big fucking scar on his face, or what.
I mean, I think we're to assume that Jessie is woke now, that he has left the elements at this point and perhaps discovered some things about the ethos that are corrupted, not kosher.
So have all of the elements, the original 4 elements of this crew become woke?
I mean,
except for Ramses?
Except for Ramses. Billy was what, 5 or 6 when Bishop Stone came and saved him? And then is 16 or 17 now. So we're going to just ballpark a 10-year period. All the elements are Citan, Josiah. They're so old. They're like 30. So we're to assume maybe 10 years has passed since then. So roughly, they've all quit their jobs and become, I mean, when Josiah left, I assumed, I don't know if he left to go do good guy shit or if he just left to go do Solarian stuff.
Yeah.
Or what he was doing on the surface in the first place anyway. I don't even know if we get that information. Maybe he was there undercover.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think Jesse's become, maybe, at least in this sort of subplot, he's become the primary mystery character.
Yeah.
We had mysteries unfold with Citan and Sigurd and stuff like that earlier where a lot of backstory was delivered to us via their subplots or their pasts, and I think now Jessie is that.
Yeah,
Jessie is our sort of the beacon versus the ethos, and he's the one that gives us our first indication that the ethos is not what it seems.
Sure, but imagine your dad just comes back after 10-year absence. He goes, "Hey, the world isn't the way you think it is.
Yeah,
I know some things. Look at this big gun I got. I heard you looked at my gun. Do you like my gun? You're good with guns now. I'm good with guns too. I'll see you later."
I wonder. I guess Billy's response was "fuck off, Dad."
Yeah, kind of.
And I think that probably is the natural response there.
Yeah, especially when you're 18. I mean, no matter what your father says when you're 18, it's "fuck you, Dad."
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
Very true. So is that it for the flashback?
I think so. Yeah, there's one more before we change venues. There's I think Billy says some more stuff in the Yggdrasil floor.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
When the flashback breaks, Billy says he was going to sell his body to support him and Primera.
He almost did that. He's incensed that despite all that, Primera still prefers Jessie to him, which kind of sucks.
Does that give you that? There's another little indication that her silence is an indicator of wisdom.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, do you think she knows something about Jessie that Billy doesn't?
She senses something about Jessie.
Okay.
I think
that he is acting for good and everything, despite some drunken outbursts and fondness for corrupting others with alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, that's a trope that we see in a lot of games, movies, etc. Like the silent, the deaf person
like
has
a superpower.
Extra superpowers to make up for their lack of a specific sense, or the blind sage and things like that. I think Primera is being presented as this.
So how much gold could Billy have sold himself for one night?
3,000 G.
Is that a lot of money?
No,
it's not.
Not when you can just go kill Sandmen in the desert.
I kill Sandmen for 300, man. 10 packs of those, I'm paid.
This is when Bart's like, Billy,
he says,
Jesus.
He says, you fool. And then offers the Yggdrasil a shelter in a for fuck's sake kind of situation if they need it.
That whole scene is all kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
First of all, Billy's 16.
Yeah.
And he's also talking about when he was, much younger than that.
Hey, man.
And I guess this is a moment for Billy to realize that Bart is kind of a nice guy after all.
Yeah.
But maybe we could have gotten there without maybe this particular scene. I didn't love it. It felt shoehorned in.
You think Bart would have offered room and board if half his guys not just died with all those empty beds that he's got?
Yes, I think Bart is good at heart.
Okay. I know you have a fondness for Bart. I'm just trying to test your estimation of him as often as possible.
Yes.
So then we go to the transport ship that Bishop Stone dispatched Billy on for business that Bart was going to provide safe passage to.
Yes, the Yggdrasil moves on its own.
Yeah, we don't pilot it. Meaning we can't go fight stuff or get things. We're directly going there.
We've got to take a party, and we had to take Billy.
Yes.
Who did you take?
I took Ellie.
And?
Faye. Oh, that's right. You couldn't take Faye. Rico. Obviously.
Oh, you took Rico.
Yeah, I'm not going to take Sidon. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I took Billy, obviously, Ellie, and Bart.
Okay.
Because I love Bart.
Yeah.
And I want to be around him at all times.
I should have taken Bart. I had another revelation recently about Bart. Have you ever noticed when he runs, his foot gets really big and he looks like Sideshow Bob?
No, but
kind of with the way he runs.
You just ruined Bart for me.
Yeah. Sorry.
Damn it.
He has a really weird running animation.
You do have an opportunity to go talk to Choo Choo again before you go.
Oh, God, man. How do you keep finding these opportunities? What did he say? What did it say? Is Choo Choo gendered?
I believe Choo Choo identifies as female.
Okay.
I went to Margie's room, and Primera's in there as well.
Great. Place for her to hang out.
And she says ...
Mm-hmm. Squall.
And Billy, he's like, what are you doing here, Primera? Because he thought she was still, I guess, at the Ethos base.
Or the orphanage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's where we saw her last.
Yeah.
And Margie says that Primera is worried about her, or worried about Billy, excuse me, and she wants to. Margie basically tells Billy that Primera is there just because she's worried and just for emotional support, etc.
Yeah. Also, with Primera being at the orphanage and then Billy wondering why he's there, I just want somebody to take Billy and go, she's a child.
Yes.
She has special needs. She needs someone to watch over her,
yes.
Billy, while you're out murdering zombies.
So, speaking of that, Billy does ask Margie to take care of his sister, and then Choo Choo chimes in and says, "Why don't you ask me that, Choo?" So Choo Choo wonders why she was not asked to babysit.
I kind of, with Choo Choo briefly before Faye got KO'd, wondered if only Faye could see Choo Choo talk.
Nope, that's
because
not
no
the
one
case.
else seems to be acknowledging that this shit's happening.
That's possible.
Like, you know how there's that penguin on the bed too? It's like, does that secretly talk to Margie that we just aren't aware of?
We do know that Bart has seen Choo Choo. Remember when Choo Choo was in the way of the bridge at the one point to advance the plot? So Bart, Margie, and Faye have seen Choo Choo. So I'm assuming that Choo Choo is real.
It's all a shared hallucination.
I guess so. Then we go on the ship.
Yes, and instead of music, we're treated to a combination of like wind and noises and beeping stuff and like thrusters going off, because it's like a hover ship, isn't it?
It seems, I mean, it's above the ocean and we don't actually see anything floating, so maybe
there's
right.
Like weird like feet platforms, and I'm not sure if they're planted in the ocean or floating on it or hovering above it. It's a strange ship.
Maybe this ship was patched together at the last minute because this game was made in only 2 years.
I can't imagine making this game in 2. Oh my god.
Makes me want to go take a nap right now.
Yeah.
The thing is basically a couple of connected like train cars with a series of doors. And it's pretty much, I mean, you've played a lot of RPGs and video games in general.
Yeah.
And there's not always a train level, but often in train levels, it's just a series of connected cars, doors, a little bit of backtracking, a little bit of key grabbing.
There's always going out the top and going into like avoiding locked doors by going into roof exits, that kind of stuff.
There absolutely has to be a ladder.
Yeah. Chris had just finished playing Astral Train, and there's a whole lot of that in there. I think that's the most recent game I played with that stuff in it.
I guess they probably had a room to make this whole area a little creepier, kind of like the sewers was.
Yeah.
But it's
more on the horror side.
Yeah, it comes off kind of bland though.
It's sort of zombie. Yeah, it's funny what time does to your memories. In my head, the Reaper ship was this big, huge thing, Billy's introduction, but it's like 3 cars.
Yeah, it's not very big at all.
I think I got in 5 battles total.
It's no Doom Train.
No, it is. Oh man, Doom Train. Good summon.
Bart says that it stinks here.
Yeah, and Billy says it's the wells. Kind of like matter of fact, like, oh yeah, those things fucking stink.
Yeah.
And they're all around here.
Billy also really wants to turn the lights on.
Yeah, when you enter, it's dark, and then you have an option of going off to the right, I believe, and flipping a switch to turn the lights on. Now, do you think Billy values light to aim and fire his weapon better, or he's scared of the dark?
I think he's Luigi.
Okay, great. Yeah, scared of the dark, fighting ghosts / wells, permanently jittery. Talks to himself and hums along with the music in the background, so it's diegetic.
Yep.
Great.
Currently playing Luigi's Mansion 3. Good game.
Great. Cool. Yeah, I bought it. Can't wait.
I don't know if my emulation was fucked up here, but as I was moving across the first room, I thought I saw some creepers in the darkness, like some objects moving around, but it might have just been the assets bumbling.
In the second room, there's some of that.
Okay.
Oh, well, no, actually, I think there's some like boxes shifting with the weight of the ship as it moves back and forth.
Oh, okay.
So that could impede your progress, I think.
That makes sense.
So what kind of battles? Do you get any weird battles with any weird things here? Any random battles?
There's mainly just the wells.
Which are gross, naked, idling zombie things.
Yes. What else do we have?
I got in fights with Abandon, which are gremlins in pots that throw Metal Man's razor blades.
Yeah, those things are weird.
Yeah.
And there's also one other kind of, I think, a rare enemy called...
Shellbell.
Yeah, Shellbell, which is like a floating siren octopus head thing.
Yeah, it's a flying head thing that sings and puts everyone to sleep, and it has a unique sound effect.
And this is our first time to use Billy's gun kata moves.
Yes.
And Billy owns.
Yeah, Billy's really good, man. His ether gun, that square one, wastes these fucking things. He one-shots them.
He's really powerful. He's got a really good heal spell. He can heal the whole party. And just his animations are fun.
Yeah.
Like he's got a coin flipping move where he flips a coin in the air.
Yeah.
And then shoots the gun. I guess he shoots the coin into the face of the thing.
Yeah.
He's fighting, like, he's awesome.
It's fucking badass.
Yeah.
And a lot of his combos, they have vocal samples. Like, I'd like it stringing those together and hear him go, yeah. over and over again, trying to fire on stuff.
There's probably a collection of this on Wikipedia or TV tropes or something, but I wonder how many battle priests have emerged from this particular trope where on the outside they're a sort of a pious priest type character, but then they reveal their inside their coats they have a giant fucking gun because they're there to kill zombies or cleanse the earth or whatever. My favorite battle priest in the history of media is Nicholas D. Wolfwood from a...
It's a good note. Yeah. What is that from? Can I guess?
You won't get it, but okay.
Is it a TV show or an anime?
It is from an anime.
I don't know.
It's from a 90s anime called Trigun, and he was like...
Oh, Trigun.
Yeah, or Trigun, yes. It's like a space Wild West kind of thing, and Wolfwood is like a secondary character, but he's a priest, and he carries this giant fucking cross on his back.
Hell yeah.
But when he like pulls the string on it, it turns into like a bunch of different machine guns and stuff.
Was everything I did in my life a mistake?
And Billy's kind of that way, except for he just hides the guns in his coat.
I want to say Constantine has a cross that turns out to be a crossbow.
Oh yeah, that like movie or that
comic.
The comic movie, same thing.
Yeah,
and
cool.
there's all kinds of media about priests that are also violent.
Yeah,
because they have some sort of higher purpose to like purge some existences.
Like the Catholic Church was really, or the Christians were really, into God and paintings and keeping the arts alive and stuff like that. But also they did the Crusades.
Exactly.
So, they have stuff to do.
Well, I think that style of character is a good clash of things. You have the holy side and you have the violent side. It's a good clash. It makes for an interesting character.
Struggling with sin.
Might be overused a bit, but I still like it.
But of course, it's not sin if you're just killing these zombie well things. It's surely anything else. But yeah, what you said makes me, I just flash back to Billy's, I think, key art for his portrait, which is him, I believe, side profile with his his head kind of bent down a little bit, and he's closing his eyes and his pistol is up to his forehead.
Yeah.
Like his eyes are a little bit too blue, like almost Dune blue. And he has I believe it was called the DiCaprio haircut from the mid-90s too.
He does.
He seems to have more dimension than Rico, although they're both going to be struggling with identity here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And what their purpose is.
Yeah, we sort of get through their plots and then they kind of are just passengers in our party. But nonetheless, I like Billy.
So we get through the first train car, we go up and out of the top of it, and then we go into the second train car, and what's that full of?
Is that the meat fridge?
Yeah, it's the meat fridge. It's like a bug room where it's cold, and there's like big like racks of, looks like cockroach shell, shrimp. Well, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. At some point when I was trying to traverse the meat fridge, I completely lost my sense of direction. I had no idea where I was going. So at that point, I just started hopping on train cars, going indoors until I got to the boss. So I'm completely lost at this point.
Yeah. There is a little bit of strategy. Like there's a treasure in the very back of that car, and then the hanging hooks of things shift position and impede your progress, I think randomly.
Yeah, it's not easy to tell how that works.
At some point, I think you go up and down another car again, and you get to a hallway with a bunk room that has the cabin key, a silver beret, and shotgun G60 ammo in it.
Oh.
Silver beret is very good headgear.
I missed that, I think.
Damn, man. Too bad you can't go back. I put it on Ellie.
Anything else before we find the boss?
Motherfucking door's locked even after the cabin key. What do you have to do to open that door?
Oh, yeah, that one. You've got to run into it.
Full speed.
Full speed. If you hit a random battle, you're fucked.
Yeah, you have to go start over again. That's part of the joy of this video game.
Not a great level design.
No. I mean, I get what they were going for.
This is not as bad as that train that we had to platform across in Kislev, but this area is not great.
I do like the image. Everybody's on screen. Hold on. When you're playing, is it everyone on screen following you?
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, so just they all run full speed, but only the first person hits the door.
Yeah.
And the rest just stop in place. And like, oh, cool.
Oh, sure, that works.
Have you ever kicked the door in?
In real life?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's fun, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, you should try it.
All right, I'll try it one day.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have to as a father.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, once your kids figure out how to lock themselves in something and you fucked up and you're like, I've got the knife, Dad.
Oh, okay, so
speaking of miserable things, we get a boss fight next.
Yes, and
at the very end of this train car.
And we've seen this thing before.
Yeah, I think it's the exact same sprite, maybe some colors.
It's less red. I think it's like more monochrome looking.
More drained, but what does it look like?
It looks like the Red Rum.
What's Red Rum?
Red Rum was the boss of the sewers. That was also the orphanage kid's dad.
Yes.
Who left.
And he had some kind of Vega claw, but it looked like organic.
Bone Vega claw,
Vega claw.
Some like sheets.
Wearing a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
Almost looked like a mutated nun.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
A little bit. But this one isn't called Red Rum. It's called
It's called the Bloody.
Bloody.
Which is a good name. You remember how the Red Rum had that drink your blood and kill you move?
Yeah.
Bloody, it appears that Bloody does that at the top of the battle.
Yes, he immediately drank Ellie.
I think that it doesn't do it again after it does it a couple times at the top of the battle, but it does like to get the murdering started right away.
Yeah, immediately start off with the murders.
Front-loaded murdering. Billy's a great healer. This is where I first noticed that Billy was going to be my main healer for this battle.
Does he have a party heal spell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He can get the whole party and with individuals. He's got a couple other status buffs, but I did not really experiment with those too much yet.
I didn't really have trouble with this fight. I had plenty of Zetasols to counteract the drinking of my party members.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily felt like I needed to do this, but I did build up some sick combos with all three of my characters and unloaded them all at once.
Hell yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's generally my policy now. Whenever I get to a boss fight, I'm like, it will probably be easier if I do sick combos.
Yeah.
In almost every instance.
It seems like maybe that mechanic hasn't been necessary in a really long time, but it is still fun to do.
Yeah. Regular random battles, I just do I do death blows, and then boss fights, I do sick death blow combos.
When you kill the Bloody, did you note what it says to us?
I'm counting on you?
Yes. Why is the Bloody counting on us?
Do you have what Billy says in response?
No.
It's my buddy. I'll call him over here.
Oh, yeah. Billy does say he's going to call his buddy. I didn't realize that was in the same scene.
This shit is all fucked up.
Are you talking about the way this whole conversation plays out?
Yeah, well...
Or the translation or something?
Yeah, do you have what the translation should be from the Xenos? Because none of this makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
So I went to the Xenosaga, Xenogears blog spot where we get the titles from, and there was a special note for this chapter. Someone wrote, I didn't get their name, but Sorikidis contributed this, said, now this is a lovely translation. Bloody doesn't actually call on an unknown party. His line in the original script reads, roughly, Blarg, you take care of the rest, big brother.
Oh.
And Billy's actual response is more like, big brother, is it? Better call for the gear now.
Okay.
So Bloody essentially, there's a gear battle coming up, and Bloody was essentially, I don't know if telepathically or just hoping wise, was saying, hey, the big guy's going to fuck you guys up next.
I got you now.
Which somehow was localized as, I'm counting on you.
Yeah.
And then Billy, even when Billy said, it's my buddy, I'll call him over here, I'm like, does Billy know who that was? He's going to call the real person out of what? It wasn't clear what the hell Billy was talking about.
No, it was very, very confusing. Then it flashes to the orphanage, and we hear the track, Blue Traveler. Not Blues Traveler, but Blue Traveler.
The Blue Traveler. I really like this song.
It's great. It's the song that we heard in our patreon.com/retroam bonus episode when we did the demo. This is the song that was playing on the splash screen of the demo.
Mm-hmm. The montage. But the Blue Traveler, it's like triumphant and it's kind of childlike. And it reminds me of something. It would be the intro to a children's television show in the 90s that came from Japan and was really localized over here. And it's just like a montage of scenes from the first season. And it just plays this kind of jubilant, happy, action-packed music that isn't, like, it takes no risks and it's inoffensive, but it is successful in motivating people to do good action.
The reason that we're seeing the orphanage is because Billy has somehow communicated with the orphanage and they are going to launch his gear.
Yeah. The kid on top of the orphanage sees Billy's signal and rings the church bell and calls for Shift G.
Did you notice that they were jumping on the seesaws?
Yes, the kids on the seesaws went hypersonic and opened up a secret hatch, and Billy's caped gear powers up and takes off.
It looks like one of those priest gears that we encountered randomly, like the Atone priest gears, but it's got a cape and it's much more regal looking. It's got like a almost like a flag on top of his helmet or something like that. It's pretty cool.
Mizuo, right? That's its name?
Yes.
And you mentioned the cape. The cape has like some kind of physics. I don't know if it's not actual physics because it's the PS1 in 98, but it has some flowing motion to it when Billy lands and stuff like that. Like there's actual animation tied to the cape.
Yep. And before we pan back to the Reaper ship, one of the kids says, today's launch was so-so.
Yeah.
Meaning that they are actually Billy's, like, that's his crew.
Yeah.
They run his shit when he needs his gear.
One of the kids says, God get him, which I don't know what the hell that means. I think he meant go get him maybe but probably. These kids aren't educated.
Did you have Bart with you? You didn't have Bart with you right here.
No.
Okay, so at that point we're kind of hanging out outside on like a, not a plank, but like a...
It's like a connecting bridge that goes underneath it.
Underneath of the Reaper ship. You can actually kind of see the boss below you.
Oh, really?
Although the characters don't necessarily notice it.
So you see it, but the characters don't.
I guess. I don't know if that was the emulation messing up because the characters did not acknowledge it for a little bit.
Yeah, Blue Traveler actually cut out during this part, but then it plays again as soon as something happens.
And so Bart says, before he realizes what's going on, he says that he loves the sea and from now on he is a man of the sea.
Bart says that?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's an excellent callback to just him being like, man, isn't it great out here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having a great time. Man, sea's way better than sand.
At that point, Ellie saw something, and Ellie also says, hey, who's Buddy?
Yeah, right. She says that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
She says, Billy, who is Buddy? And I don't know if he's referring to like his gear or the giant Reaper buddy that's about to attack us. I don't know. I guess the gear.
Yeah, I guess the gear because Billy called it Buddy somehow.
This whole time I can see the fucking boss.
Yeah.
It's weird. And at this time, what song plays? Fuse?
The Blue Traveler plays again.
Oh, Blue. Oh, okay.
This is where I had my Fuse and Steel Giant confusion, but then I went, because I wrote down in my original notes that Steel Giant played here, but then I watched a Let's Play on YouTube to double check, and I didn't see any music. So either they skipped that, maybe Steel Giant plays, I don't know.
I wrote down Fuse.
Okay, let's go ahead and assume Fuse plays, because we got to play some more music.
Initializing fake net.
Yep, it was Fuse. Here's the live version.
So Billy swipes them up, and that's when, so...
The Yggdrasil plops in out of nowhere, too.
Yeah. And then they're like, get ready because here it comes.
No, he says, get ready because here it come.
Oh, here it comes.
Billy has no formal education.
No, he doesn't.
He has some subject-verb disagreements, pretty bad, but he means well.
It's been a rough day for Billy.
Yeah.
In the grammatical department. Yes, now we are to battle the giant well.
Yes.
And doing any damage to it, doing any attacks to it yields 0 damage.
Right, except like in normal physical attacks. So what actually damages it?
Ether attacks.
Who's got those?
Ellie's got them.
Mm-hmm.
Bart can use Wild Smile, and that will cause the same effect because it's considered an ether attack. Whenever you do this, the thing grows in size.
Yeah, you know what my immediate thought was?
Grow it until it explodes.
Yes. How big can I make this thing? I really want to make this real big.
Did you?
I hit it with air odds 3 times.
Oh.
And then eventually it died. So I don't know how big you can make it, but I wanted to make my monster grow.
As it enlarges, its attack goes up and its defense goes down. So that's how you can start to do damage to it.
Okay, I wondered because eventually Bart's physical attacks, I was out of things to do. Or not Bart, but Rico, I was out of things to do with him. And eventually his attacks started connecting and creating damage.
Bart has a death blow in his gear where he like grabs the enemy and kind of just slams them on the ground back and forth a couple times.
Oh, cool.
He's like, I think it's this triangle square one. Mm-hmm. If you do that to this thing, it's hilarious because he picks up the whole fucking thing and slams it on the ground.
That's funny.
It's really good.
Does it just remain in its idling animation while it does that?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's terrific.
Great.
Well, I guess Rico probably has one of those too. I guess you didn't have the opportunity to get that one
Bomberhead or whatever. Yeah. The giant well only literally to me had one attack where he steals fuel by hugging me.
Oh, yeah.
So he's kind of like the worm with its big sip.
Yeah. He eventually gets pretty strong and does a lot of damage once you've increased his size by a lot. But overall, I think this is a boss battle with a really cool gimmick, but it's not too hard.
Yeah.
Like once you figure it out, then you're in the clear.
You want to think that Xenogears shows some mercy by when you've got these combo battles where you have an on-foot battle. Or actually, no, you can save in between this, can't you? There's a save point right before the bloody fight where you can go back up and save in between. But you're kind of, you can't really go buy parts for your gears. You can't necessarily upgrade them. So it's good that they don't make this one too hard, in my opinion.
Then we're back to the Yggdrasil. Billy's thankful for our assistance, and Bart wonders what the hell the Ethos is thinking. With, I guess, just the fact that they are out here killing zombies on a random ship.
Yeah, Bart asks Billy, why has this giant-ass violent gear? And Billy says, we E-tones are merely fulfilling our divine mission, which is more of the classic, God wants me to kill lines.
Exactly. And this is the point, too. I don't know if this scene plays out the same if you didn't have them in your party, but Billy and Bart seem like they're starting to get along a little bit now.
Yeah, a little bit. They're growing a friendship.
They're trying to dunk on each other a little bit less. And that is all I have.
Yeah, that's I have Burning Souls starting immediately afterward.
So, that's an episode.
You think so?
Yes.
Cool.
It's an episode. So, thank you for joining me today, Eric. Thank you, listener, for joining me today. Follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter account, RetroAmnesiaPod. It's a good Twitter account. You should follow it. Send us an email, retrogradeamnesiapodcast@gmail.com. Support our sorry asses on Patreon, patreon.com/retroam. Early access, bonus episodes, etc. Thank you to Mark Shepard for the introductory song. It's awesome. Anything else that I missed? We're not on Facebook. I don't know if we...
Nope.
No Instagram. That's it. Okay. Well, thanks. Until next time.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep. Oh, nothing.
Whacking it.
Just whacking it.
Whacking.
So
3 had a Super Nintendo release, I think.
Yeah, that was the one that Takahashi worked on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or I guess he probably worked on the PC version, but it eventually got ported to... Yeah. He did monster design for that.
This is the last White Claw I'm going to ever drink.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about Speed King, the Konami Wipeout clone that had Metal Gear and Snatcher and other stuff tucked inside of it. Okay, great.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Eric.
Yeah, whatever.
And then I was like, I'm going to watch the Kentucky game. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to pour another drink. And then
it's Tuesday night.
I have been owned. Yes. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Tuesday. Because I was off yesterday. So I didn't perceive it as being like I had to go to work the next day. And
fuck.
My whole day was fucked up today. It's not great.
What are you doing, Chris?
Trying to find what I wanted to read at the end of the podcast, but I'm just things are just not going well for me.